Many thanks to Pandemonium, Fellow Tracks Vanilla servers, Atlas, One Original DayZ servers, Clash Vanilla servers, Sgt. Pepper's DayZ Invasion server, PTC Vanilla servers, the Stronger Best Vanilla community, Sea of Tools Cloud, and Neofarmer servers for making this video possible. Since the 1.25 gives us a distinctively designed SV-98 rifle, which is now one of the most powerful weapons in the game. So in this video we're going to check out what this weapon can do, why it's one of the best bolt action weapons in DayZ, compare it to all weapons that share similarities with it, and see where it ranks among the best of the best. The SV-98 in DayZ mimics the SV-98 Russian bolt-action sniper rifle in real life, a weapon that is widely loved by the DayZ community as it was an instant favourite in the mod when it was released in 2012. Now in 2024, 12 years later, the new version of DayZ's SV-98 is much more noob-friendly. You will get an instruction manual with this one because it will tell you which rounds you need to put inside it, on the gun, on the texture of the gun. 7.62 by 5.4 rounds. I know that other people wanted different rounds, but these are the rounds that we're going to get. And like any weapon that uses these rounds, it's pretty damn devastating over range, especially when you have a 10 round mag that was added alongside this weapon in 1.25. The SV-98 spawns in Tier 3 plus military locations on both Chernobyl and Livonia, so that means Tier 4 on Chernobyl 2, with each server spawning a maximum of 3 at a time. In terms of rarity then, you'll come across the SV-98 about 3 times less often as the AK-74, which spawns in the same locations, so I wouldn't exactly call the SV-98 a rare weapon to get together, but it's also not easy to get together either. If you are missing the mag, it spawns in the same locations as the gun itself and even has a 45% chance to spawn inside the SV-98, along with a 25% chance to have one of the 4 optics spawn with it too. These are the 4 optics that can spawn on it: the RDS sights, Baraka, ACOG 4 times and ACOG 6 times, with this 6 times ACOG having the lowest chance to spawn on the SV-98 when it spawns itself. The only other 2 optics that the SV-98 can attach are the combat sights and the starlight optic, so that's 6 optics in total. There is no standalone optic for this weapon, which is quite disappointing. I believe a custom SV-98 optic would have made this weapon extremely exotic as a sniper, which I'm guessing the SV-98 was teased in the 2024 roadmap as exotic, but they could be referring to another sniper down the road. I could be wrong on that, but I would say at this point it's not really anything that special being added to the game. The optic is missing. You need an optic on this weapon to make it exotic, I would say. Other than the 6 optics and the mag then, the only other attachments is a ghillie weapon wrap and the improvised suppressor, which will give you 3 suppressed shots until this becomes ruined from full pristine. The 7.62 by 5.4s that the SV-98 fires start life at 150 health and shock damage, but combined with the SV-98 it does a little bit less, which is nonetheless capable of one-shotting a player or regular infected at nearly 400 meters away, so it is very powerful still, and it can KO players at a huge 770 meters away, so it's up there with the big boys. With the ACOG 6 times, you can get up to around 850 meters of reliable shooting, so you can hit targets nearly every time at this distance, with the zoom helping a lot at this distance too, which can't be said without an optic. Without an optic, this zeroes up to 600 meters, which you can hit targets with, but it's going to be difficult on the iron sights to hit 600 meter targets. It's going to be hard to even be on target when you've got this amount of zoom, giving it essentially the same range capabilities that the DMR has. Due to how slowly the SV-98 fires though, the DMR is a far superior weapon. I shouldn't have to tell you that. At close range and medium distances, the DMR devastates, with the sweet spot with the SV-98 then being between around 200 to 400 meters with all of the stats considered. So if you want to reliably hit and kill targets, I would say 200 to 400 meters is best, and I would ride with a sidearm like you should with any other bolt action weapon too. The SV-98 in DayZ is surprisingly quiet compared to other bolt-action weapons of this caliber, cutting off 500 meters before most other bolt-action weapons will, so around 2,900 meters this will cut off. You won't be able to hear it at 3,000, coming in slightly quieter than the 3,000 of the DMR. Other than that, for stats, its recoil, sway, reload speed, accuracy, durability and penetration power are fairly average for a weapon like this, but what does stand out with the SV-98 is just how long this weapon is. It's the longest weapon in DayZ, 125 centimeters from the center of your character, and as a result is the worst in tighter environments, so it's worse than the Mosin. Its weight is also OP. I believe this weight will probably get reduced. It's 5.8 kilos at the time of this video, which makes it the heaviest weapon in DayZ 2. In terms of in-game similarities, the Pioneer is similar to the SV-98 or VS-89 due to it being a bolt-action weapon, using the same optics and having that external mag as well. But due to the differences in damage here, as you may be aware, the damage differences are huge. It's hard to find a reason that the Pioneer would be better unless you value stealth above all else. A better comparison then is the Savannah, with the Savannah excelling slightly in range, so it's a better weapon for range and has better health damage too. But due to how this 7.62x5.4s have bonus shock damage on them, this ammo type has bonus shock, the SV-98 does more shock damage than the Savannah does. Now if the SV-98 came with its own long-range optic, I'd say the Savannah and the SV-98 were fairly equally matched, but because the Savannah has the hunting optic with that variable 12 times zoom and that tight reticle, this is my favourite optic, so maybe I'm biased here, but the Savannah I would say is a far better bolt-action sniper, and just a better sniper in general compared to the SV-98. It's a similar story with the Mosin, but the Mosin has even more damage due to it having the same rounds but having a higher damage multiplier on that weapon, with the PU scope giving it a decent edge in range too. For this reason, I'd say for both the Savannah and the Mosin, the reason both of these weapons are better is almost entirely down to how the SV-98 lacks an optic better than the hunting optic or the PU scope, while also somehow being harder to find. The SV-98 is worse, but it's harder to find than these two weapons. It doesn't make a lot of sense, so I believe they might buff the SV-98. So other than how great the SV-98 looks, it does look fantastic. I can't say it changes the meta in any way, and I'll probably just stick to the Mosin or the Tundra due to it being easier to find, not needing a magazine, having better long-range optics, having better range, and having better damage. There's a lot of reasons why the SV-98 is going to take a backseat with these weapons. For this reason, I will now be referring to the SV-98 as the worst of the best bolt-action snipers in DayZ, reflected by the ranks as you can see here. Let me know your opinions on the SV-98 below. Check this video for more details on 1.25. Thank you very much for watching and have a good day.